Hey, what's going on? Today, I want to share with you a super interesting gentleman that I was able to interview. His name is Vako Shvili, and he is a freelance designer. Vako travels the world and consistently gets high paying clients. And I'm going to show you real quick how he does that. So, if you check this out, Vako, it's right here on his personal page, is a designer and instructor. You can see his Udemy course right here. Learn how to design a killer landing page without coding. And what Vako teaches is pretty interesting because you can get up to speed and become a professional designer with what he teaches, in a matter of weeks. And he shows you how to create pages with two tools in particular. Instapages. If you've never seen instapage.com, I'd head over there. It allows you to create professional landing pages without knowing any code. Now, this is a lot different from if you're using a content management system like WordPress, which is bloated, not responsive, and doesn't create pages that look really like a professional designer made them. Vako has a course on how to create pages with this. It's very short. You can learn it in one day. He is also coming out with a course on how to create pages with Webflow. If you haven't seen Webflow, it is a super interesting company. They have a tool that allows you to create sites with custom JavaScript, CML, and CSS and HTML, so you don't know how to code. It allows designers to ship websites that are the same quality as if you had a development and design team working on it, all with one person. So Webflow is an amazing software, totally going to change web design. And if you learn it, you'll be able to ship super high quality products and charge the price accordingly. Vako has been doing this while he travels the world and is able to consistently get high paying clients. So if you're interested in learning how to be a designer, I highly suggest you watch this interview and you go to Udemy, check out his Instapage course. And as he releases the Webflow course in a few months, I highly suggest you get that as well. So thanks. I hope you enjoy this interview. So we are recording. Today I have on Vako Shvili. He is a freelance designer. He works with clients all over the world. He also teaches. He's a Udemy instructor and helps people to figure out their own freelance careers. So Vako, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for inviting.
Definitely. So I think you got to see the questions. It's an easy one to start off with, but what's the most exciting thing that you're working on right now, and why is that?
At this moment, actually, I've completed two really major projects, which were was like website design and build for a digital agency in Australia, which was a beast of a website and took me a lot of time, and it was a good effort and came out really good. I'm happy with it, and I love when I put projects to bed and then they're done and they're complete. And another thing that I've done, which was quite exciting, which was an app for car sharing.
Okay.
Do you know? I think in the US you might have Zipcar, something like that. It's when there are cars in the city and you rent it. You take with an app. You open the car, so it's not like Uber or Lyft, but it's basically you drive the car and you rent that car from from the city. You drive it, you drop it off, close it with the app, you walk off. So there's this Swiss startup that I'm working on, and we're building a design. I'm designing the app, and then the guys, developer team, they are building it. And I haven't finished it, but yeah, I would say that's one exciting project that I'm working on. And my next project, which is my personal one, I'm gonna start creating another course on Udemy.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's something I'm quite excited about.
Yeah, that does. I actually have a couple questions about this. So the first one you said is the app is an app that's it's almost like a Zipcar competitor.
Sort of like that, yeah. Okay. It's Europe, and there's already so many of them around Europe, but these guys are doing it in Zurich, Switzerland.
Okay.
Which is probably exactly the same concept as Zipcar, but just one additional, because there's no Zipcar around here. I don't think there's any Zipcar in Europe. Maybe in the UK, but not in Lisbon, not in Switzerland. And the additional concept they're gonna have is scooters. So they're gonna have scooters and cars.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Interesting. And then the course, I took your first course, the landing page one. It was awesome. Introduced me to Instapages. What kind of course are you trying to get into now? A more extensive design course, or what are you doing?
It is, yeah. The next one. So there is this tool called Webflow. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I saw it on your blog. It looks pretty
Okay.
excellent.
All right. So this is so how to explain this? So this is a web design tool.
Yeah.
More of a web building tool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you would think, like a WordPress or a Wix or Squarespace or some, you would say something like that. But this is a professional web development tool, which means, so if like Instagram filters were the photo editing tools, this tool would be the Photoshop for photo editing tools. So, like Squarespace is like Instagram for photo. It's something that a regular consumer can use it. It's very simple to use. Do you know Squarespace?
Yeah. Yeah.
You heard of it, probably. It's pretty big.
Oh, yeah. I've used it tons of times for just like quick mock-ups for sites. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's quick mock-ups, quick sites. So it's something that, easy to use and somebody can get into it. And the Webflow is like professional tool for that. So it enables designers like me who I don't know how to code. I do understand a bit of HTML, CSS, but I don't know how to code. And for somebody who is a purely designer coming from the graphic design background, gives me the ability to actually build websites and ship them and give them to the clients and have them to the client. And it's an absolutely amazing game changer tool. And it's picking up. It's been there for years on the market, but not many people know about it. And I want to put this course on Udemy because I think it's the easiest way for people to get into web development. Because a lot of students, they go like, I want to get a tech job. I want to start freelancing, and I want to start freelancing and learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and learn how to build websites. But you have to start from really scratch, and you have to learn so many different languages, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and you have to like work on it so many years to get somewhere and get to a mediocre level where you can deliver some stuff, some work. But I know that this is the way to get in and get there fastest. And that's what I want to give basically to the Udemy students.
Oh, that's exciting. So potentially someone could watch your course, get their free trial or whatever, then subscription to Webflow and start offering services at a higher level.
Absolutely, yeah. Without having to spend like years learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and for WordPress.
Yeah. No, I loved the Instapages tutorial. I've been using Thrive Themes Architect, and it's just, they constantly have little issues, and it's so frustrating. And Instapages was so good.
Smooth, right?
So smooth. Unfortunately, a little more expensive, but pretty good.
I know. Yeah. They've been increasing. Yeah, they've been increasing prices every other year.
Yeah. I mean, they deserve it. Good product.
Great product.
Let's see here. So speaking of, job opportunities like design, I wanted to talk to you because it seems like you have a lot of experience with, working with developers, designers, marketers. What skills do you see as being the highest leverage, like best opportunity for people that want to get into freelancing and are looking at all their different potential career paths?
I actually would ask that question, or for a potential person who is thinking about changing careers or getting to the tech careers or thinking about new freelancing opportunities. I think the question they should ask that not what market demands, but what's the skill that they could get really good at? Because what market wants really good talent? They don't want another designer who is mediocre or sucks. They don't want another developer who cannot get shit done. The market really needs market wants good talent, and but they want anything. They want everything. Like, world is so big, and everybody has just my girlfriend is she's doing life coaching, and she's helping people who struggle with anxiety and relationships, romantic relationship or business relation, things like that. So people want so many different things. Some people want business coaching, some people want life coaching, some people want websites, some people want apps, some people want machine learning and AI development. There's just so many different things, but everybody wants good talent, no matter what it is. So one thing I always tell people is this. There is this guy which I love, and I read his book. It's called Ken Robinson, and he wrote this book called Element. And it's basically finding something that you are kind of good at, a little good at, and you like it a bit. So there's a formula that you like it a bit and you're kind of good at it. You kind of have a little bit of knack for it. And then you start investing more time in it. And because you like it, you work on it. It's not that exhausting for you to work on it. And because you're sort of good at it, that satisfies you, because when you produce something and you look at your work and you say, "Ooh, look, I made a nice poster." Feels so good for your ego, right?
Yeah.
And that gets you to put a bit more time in it. And because you put a bit more time in it, now you got a bit better at it, right? But because you got a bit better at it, now you're a bit more satisfied about it. And then it's just positive feedback that gets you going, and at some point you reach really extremely high quality in whatever it is. It can be a massage therapy or life coaching or graphic design or JavaScript or HTML or whatever it is. But you have to like it, because like, imagine, have you ever met a chef who doesn't like food?
No.
Or have you ever met a musician that doesn't listen to music for enjoyment?
Yeah. No.
Right? Or have you ever met a football player who doesn't like to run? So people need to like, but imagine, like, I meet all the time people who hate being in the office.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, if you hate being in the office, you're not gonna get good at whatever you're doing there, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're doing some sales job and you hate being on the phone, you're not gonna become a good salesperson.
Yeah.
So you always have to find what you're kind of like, sort of good at it, and then let the universe take care of it.
Yeah. No, I like that for the motivation. That's so true. So true. Yeah. And looking at the market too, if it's a totally not a match for you, it's like, it doesn't matter what the market wants. And especially if you're not going to be top, super competitive at it. Cause I think you're right. The market doesn't need any more, subpar contractors working there.
They don't. There is plenty of them. There is plenty bad talent.
Yeah.
Out there.
It's unfortunate. So your own road to design, how did you decide you wanted to be a designer? Was that you've always been doing, or how'd you get into that?
It was complete accident. I bumped into it. Like, I just crashed into design out of nowhere, because I always thought like design was something artistic and artsy and something creative. And I always considered myself like the least creative person, because I was always into system, mathematics, organizing stuff and being efficient and problem solving, those kind of stuff, solving puzzles and things like that. I was never drawing or, wondering about colors and stuff like that. Yeah. But then I got lucky, because I had my business partner who was my boss here at my previous company. He was a graphic designer himself, and he saw that I was working as a marketer, and sometimes I needed to design, like get an ad flyer or a poster or a Facebook cover photo or profile picture or something like that for the company. And because I had the need, sometimes I had to like open up some design tools and just put something together. And then one day he saw that I sort of had a little bit of tendency towards design. And then he encouraged me, and he told me like, "Oh, pretty good actually for somebody who has no idea what he's doing." Mm-hmm. And he encouraged me. He gave me some guidance. So what a mentor would do, right? And absolutely thanks to him, today I'm a designer, because he gave me encouragement and told me that I could be a designer. Otherwise, I would just not think about it at all. Just not consider it ever.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting. You were working as a marketer. What kind of marketing? Just like regular digital marketing stuff, or what were you doing?
Digital marketing stuff mainly, yeah. Facebook advertisement, Google advertisement, social media, anything. We were running. We were like three business partners, very young people, and we were running the student agency. We were helping students to go study in the UK, and yeah. So we always had some challenges like that to come up. We needed to do some posters, whatever. We basically needed to get clients, and we're doing any sort of marketing, basically, anything that would work.
Yeah. No, totally. That's interesting. So do you have any plans to start up anything your own in the near future at all, or is thinking about it, or not really?
I think I had a very intense experience with startups. I had me and this other two partners of mine. We had this one company which was pretty successful, and then we founded another company which was a disaster, which was a huge. I would say the company, the idea was great, the traction was great. We got investment. We even won some big competitions, like which was organized in Facebook headquarters in London,
Oh, wow.
and we took like first place and £150,000, and everything was going really, really great. And then one day I was fired
Oh, wow.
from my home company, which was sort of my idea and my creation.
What happened? Can you get
Well,
into it or not?
we had me and my partner. We had a huge fight and huge fallout, and our relationship was already deteriorating. And it just one day it just snapped. One day everything just snapped, and yeah, I was the minority shareholder. He was the majority shareholder, and I had to go. But I have no regrets, because I still thank him, because he was the one who gave me this career today that I absolutely love. And I've loved doing the freelancing, and love doing web design, and I love being at home or in a coffee shop and doing my individual work. And I've realized one thing, which is, running a business, having a startup is not my thing. It's a lot of people's thing, but it's not mine. And that's why I always tell them to find what's your thing. Because when you find your thing, you're gonna get really good at it, because you'll do it, you'll like it, and you'll get extremely good at it. I never got extremely good at running a business because I just didn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Sorry to hear about that, but I mean, it does sound like it worked out. And you mentioned it, you like it so much, you love it. What is it that you love about design, and then the lifestyle being a designer provides for you?
First of all, I love the action, the process itself, because I love solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
And digital product design is mainly solving problems. So when you think about posters and print design and advertisement, it has a bit more creative side to it, where it's less problem solving and a bit more creative expression to it. But when it comes to digital products like mobile apps and websites and web platforms and tools like Instapage or WhatsApp, they are apps that need to solve some sort of problem, and they have to function in a way that people get it. People don't need to have instructions how to use it. When somebody picks it up, when you pick up a WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, you know what to do with it without having to read a manual. Like in an old days when you get a washing machine and you have to read the manual, and you can't read it. Nobody reads a manual, and you always mess it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I like, solving those sort of problems, and making sure that somebody who's gonna pick this up, he will understand how to use it, and will understand how to achieve his goal that he's trying to achieve with this app.
Mm-hmm.
And the second, obviously, lifestyle, the freedom. I love the freedom. I wake up whenever I want to wake up. I love working until late at night. I don't like working in the morning. But if I had to work in a company, I couldn't do that. I couldn't choose that. I'm very unproductive in the morning, extremely unproductive, very slow. My brain needs 3 hours to wake up in the morning. So for me to start designing in the morning, it's just gonna take so much effort, and I won't be able to deliver good results. But if I start working in the afternoon and late at night, then I deliver really good results. But I don't have that freedom if I'm at the work, right? If I can't do that if I'm in the office 9 to 5.
That's interesting. I always hear people that are like super guilty about moving their workday later in the day because they feel like they have to get up because it's like this test of your worth as a human to get up early. But that's interesting that you've purposefully said to yourself, no, I'm more productive in the afternoon and evening. That's kind of interesting.
And what can I do? I would love to be productive in the morning. That's just
yeah, right? Wake up at like 4 a.m. and be like, oh, I'm going to take on the day.
I know. My clients are, they're like that. I have Australian clients in Brisbane, and that they always like, get started there at 4 a.m. in the morning. They go to the gym for 1 hour, and at 5 a.m. they're in the office, rocking it, really productive. I'm like, oh my God, that's just nightmare for me.
Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. Maybe I'll have to try that. That's what are your normal hours like? If you don't mind me asking, what would you say is your normal block like when you cut it off in the evening?
So I would say I wake up around 10.
Okay.
I cook breakfast at home. I usually watch Friends while I have my breakfast.
Yes.
Friends, or How I Met Your Mother, or Rick and Morty. I don't know if you're into geeky cartoon stuff. And so I always have to have my breakfast and watch some sort of comedy episode. And obviously, every day when you do that, you run out of the episodes, and I have to rewatch them over and over again. So I've, like How I Met Your Mother, I've seen probably 7 times.
Friends, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Yeah,
yeah, it's just way too many times. But I don't have any other options. So I just run out of them. So that's my routine. And I would say around 12, I start 12. Yeah. Around noon, I start my work for 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And then I do my weird lunch dinner at around 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's very odd timing for anybody because it's neither lunch, neither dinner, neither brunch. I don't know what it is. Based on my schedule, that's what it is. And that's what I have. Yeah. After that, I go for a coffee. Where I sometimes play video games.
Yeah.
And then I come back and work for another 2-3 hours.
Okay.
And I call it a day. Then I might, go for drinks outside, meet up with friends, or do something else.
Okay.
But I would say,
nice.
On average, I work like 5 hours a day.
Okay. And you do that, what is that, like 5-6 days a week, or how many? What do you
6 days a week. 6 days a week. Yeah.
Okay.
I take a break on Saturday.
Nice. That sounds ideal to me. That sounds like the perfect work schedule.
Works for me.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people watching, they would agree that's what would work for them. Cool. And did it take you a while to settle in on this? Like a lot of experimentation, or you just kind of knew?
That's how the day one that I had the freedom to do that, that's how it fell out.
That's how it's always been.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Because just listen to your body, listen to your feeling, and it's going to get you where you're supposed to be. So if you listen to yourself, and when you're working on something, and if you're like, you're doing, I don't know, maybe you're doing a spreadsheet, or maybe you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, or maybe you have this sort of interview with somebody, listen to yourself and see if when you end it, when you're done working with it, do you feel exhausted or energized? Like when I finish my design work, I'm energized. I'm never exhausted. I'm like, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to, because I'm satisfied, because I've completed something. I feel satisfied. And then I can do other stuff. I'm never tired after it. And if you feel, if you're doing some work that gets you tired, then probably it's not what you want to do, because you are using so much of your willpower. And with willpower, it's just like really limited resource to push through it. But I'm not using willpower to work when I'm designing. It just, for me, it just flows. And when I'm done, my willpower is still 100% full, like a battery. Not like a battery, but a battery is always.
Yeah, a full battery. Yeah.
More like a magical
that's awesome.
Battery.
Completely, never Energizer battery. Yeah, that's interesting though, because a lot of my buddies that do fitness coaching, one of the first things they realize is like people that are having problems with their health, it's usually because they're doing a lot of stuff for the majority of their day that they don't want to be doing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It is
Yeah.
so draining. You see it on you see it on people's faces. It just, do you know, like in Harry Potter, these creatures, Dementors, when they
Yeah.
just suck life out of you, just falling
Yeah.
apart. That's what happens when you're doing something that you don't want to do. It's just so stressful and so life consuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And it's interesting that you said too how startups aren't for you, because the way that you're saying you feel energized with that schedule, I know there are some people that they just feel energized just working all day, but it's like not most of the people I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you hang out, like my business partner, he was complete opposite of me. For him, let him talk, let him go to meetings, let him sell, let him do business interviews and business partners. That's what he was getting his, rocking his boat basically, and that's what he loved. Right. So if I give him an advice, you know what, this is a great lifestyle. Wake up at 11 o'clock and take it easy and work 5 hours a day
Yeah.
and just sit down and just design something, all day long. He would go crazy. That would
Yeah.
drain life out of him.
Yeah. No, totally. Totally. I think people don't try to figure that out for themselves enough, because most corporate jobs are similar routine. So with the different jobs, you mentioned, you need to find out what you're going to be really good at, because you don't want to just produce a shit product in your work. So how can people figure that out? I know you said you tried marketing and then you went to design. Do you think there's a way people can figure that out without wasting too much time, or not really?
There is no easy way to get there. I mean, it's easy, but there is no quick way to get there,
Yeah.
because your brain and your personality is just so complicated, and you looking within yourself is also extremely difficult. Somebody observing you might have a better understanding of what your tendencies are, but when you're observing yourself within inside, right, it's extremely difficult to find out what's gonna be a good thing. So you cannot really predict it. The only way you can, and 100% definitely you can tell, is when you have sensory experience. So when you're eating food, you 100% can tell if you like it or not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you cannot predict if you're gonna like a food. Like you cannot see the ingredients of the food and you'll be like, oh, I'm definitely gonna like it, unless you have super extreme amount of experience and all the ingredients. Maybe you could if you're a professional in it, but you're not a professional in predicting what would be the great career choice for you. So for me, I've tried everything. I even tried online poker. I tried online poker
Wow.
for 3 months. I
Yeah.
thought that would be my thing. Wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't my thing. I lost that. That didn't make
Oh shit.
I didn't become a super. I didn't become Phil Ivey and a successful poker player. No, I tried a lot of things. I tried businesses, and when I did freelance and when I did design, that's where that's where I found my element basically. And yeah, as an advice to people is, you gotta try these things and listen to your body, listen to your how you're gonna feel, and at some point you'll hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Predicting, very difficult, but it's very difficult to predict it. You always have to give it a shot and see yourself. But obviously, you can. If I were to sit down and let's say start categorizing things, I would say, like, do you like working with people or you don't? I think that's very easy to tell, and
Yeah.
that can really easily categorize what you would like to do. So if you get a lot of pleasure from working with people,
Mhm.
design development probably won't be your thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't deal with people that much. You deal with the computer. You deal with tools. You're working with a tool most of the time, and a lot of time you're working in isolation.
Mhm.
Obviously, you're doing some teamwork because there is a feedback loop and stuff, but it's not your daily routine. It's not the daily thing. So
Mhm.
if you're doing 5 hours of design independently alone, but you're a people's person and you get your kicks out of meeting people and talking to people, then this is not your thing. Absolutely. You will hate this. So if you like people, then you have to choose careers that on a daily basis involves talking to people, meeting people, and interacting to people. So if it's, things like marketing, sales, PR, I don't know what else is that. I think there's obviously a lot of things that involve. Then you can think about those careers. So I think you can start by categorizing. Do I like interacting with people or I don't? And a lot of people, they don't like to interact with people when it comes to work. Obviously, we all like to interact with our friends and, family and go out for a drink. Not that sort of interaction. I mean, work-based interaction. That's what you can sort of put yourself into a little bit of a funnel and then break down from there. And from there, like I could tell this, for example, with that when it comes to development, like if you're thinking of if the development, programming and coding would be your thing, I can tell you, can you spend 8 hours looking for a bug?
Yeah.
Like, can you not shoot yourself? If you are, say something is broken, you don't know why it's broken, you're trying to figure it out and sitting there staring, doing nothing for 8 hours, understanding what's wrong.
Yeah.
I can do that. I like that. But if that's gonna drive you crazy, development won't be your thing because you'll just drive yourself crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of development involves that something is just not working and you don't know why. I need to find. It's puzzle solving. So if you like puzzles, you'll probably like development.
Yeah.
So if I worked on it, I would probably come up with some sort of system to tell you that this is not your thing. Not to tell you that this will be your thing, but I can tell you what's not going to be your thing probably.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I'm trying to figure it out. It's a good one. I like the people versus no people, and it's a good starting point. I'm gonna start with that. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So for your, I just have a couple more questions, by the way. I know you probably have some work for your course. Do you have any wild success stories from any of your students? Like any of your students go and start a business afterwards with Udemy or anything crazy like that? Get a job?
I gotta say, I do have a lot of success stories, but not what you would expect because my clients, my students, they come to landing page not to become landing page designers. They come because they have a necessity for a landing page. They need a landing page, and that's where they're getting that. Because most of my students, when they come, it will be entrepreneurs, it will be marketers. Let's say sometimes it will be marketers, digital marketers who are working for a company, and they have a project that they need to build a landing page, or they have been already building landing page, but they want to improve on that. And you'll be those kind of guys. Or a lot of times we'll be starting entrepreneurs who the landing page is not their business model. It's the means, it's the advertising means for them. And that's how they come. I've heard a lot of success stories. Like one of the stories I've heard was actually, this was already a very successful startup. They were doing sort of handmade head laces. Very interesting business. So it's a head laces on them. So you would basically hang the hat somehow. You know how you hang the sunglasses on your neck. So something like that for the hat, so they don't fly away. So mainly it was for guys who are into extreme sports, who are riding bikes, who are riding mountain bikes and things like that. And they have this problem, the hat always flies away. So they come out with this really ingenious solution where it has laces. And then they were selling hats with those laces and all this stuff. Very successful startup. And when they started doing digital marketing and advertising, they were spending a lot of money on they were not getting really good conversion rates, and they were spending a lot of money on it. And then they took one of the guys, they took my course, and then, they built really good landing page out of it. And then, they wrote me and was thanking me saying that, oh my God, conversions improved so much. And now we were blowing our budgets because we, didn't have a proper landing page for our conversion.
Yeah.
So things like that, yes, but not as my next course made mine, because my next course will be more directed for people who want to become designers.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though. I mean, a startup using it is pretty awesome. So the Webflow course, you've been talking about that a couple of times. Are you in any way affiliated with the company, or do you just love their product?
I just love it.
Really?
I just love it. I'm just for me. I feel like it gives me superpowers.
Yeah.
For me, it just because what I can do with it, it's you will need a really good developer to be able to do those things. So, if you need to build interactions and animations and things like that on a website, yeah, somebody might know HTML and CSS, but if you need a lot of animations and things have to happen on the website, right? If there is, boxes disappearing, appearing, doing backflips, somersaults, whatever, you need somebody who is proficient in jQuery, JavaScript, or some, a bit more of an animation stuff. And but this one, Webflow covers everything and gives me this ability to build websites without knowing any of these languages. And I can produce extremely high quality websites. And because before I had to, design a website and
it was at Webflow. You were talking about, you basically said that Webflow can make super like high quality websites, and like why you were using it, what you thought about the product.
Yeah, and what it enables me to do is to propose to a client a full delivery of the website, because nobody wants just a design, right? Usually they want a product, they want a website to be done. So either I have to hire a developer, for example, if I want to propose a package to the client that I will, design and get the developed site, and hire a developer, work with them, waste a lot of time in communication with them, make any edits to the site. Any edit I need to make to the site, I have to tell the developer. So all this is so costly and will take so much of my time, and then I have to share the revenue with another developer, right? Or the client has to get my designs, and they have to find a developer who is going to build the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just creates a bit more extra cost for client, for me, more time consuming, and but with Webflow, I can just tell them, which is I'll design it and develop it in mobile, and you'll have excellent site, excellent website that runs on amazing servers. The hosting isn't as expensive. It's just like $15, $20 per month, and it has an amazing CMS, content management system, which is much simpler than what WordPress would have. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
better. Like you can edit a site when you take a site. It has a live editor. So for a client who wants to like make some little changes to the site, they don't have to go in the back office and edit articles and stuff there or change something. No, the site is live. You edit right away. You publish it. So it has so many great features for me as a designer, and plus for the client, they don't have to learn WordPress. They don't have to deal with any of that stuff. They just go on the website and they start editing. That's it. That's all they need to do. It's that simple. So it's huge win for both of us.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check their product out again. I saw it. It looked good,
you can see, like you go on YouTube and you'll see a lot of web. So designers who got into it, they're like mind blown, because this is how much they can do with it, right? Because now a lot of designers, they wanted to learn to code because of that, but a lot of designers, they don't like to code. They got into design because they like the design side of things, and now that they can build all these things, they're like mind blown, which is like it's a difficult product. Like nobody has even attempted to do something close to that. Like there is no alternative to it. It's that complex of a engineering behind it, although done in a very simple way, but it's so powerful. It just I'm every day I ask myself, how did they manage to build such amazing tool?
Yeah, how do more people not know about that? That's mind blowing. I wonder. Anyway, you answered a bunch of questions. I appreciate it. You gave some great advice. I do want to ask you this last question. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or that you'd like to talk about or leave people with?
Let me think. I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, one of the things, one of the questions, maybe, which is still from the list, the list of questions that you had, which is what, so for upcoming designers, what resources,
Yeah.
And how to, how to get the skill and how to improve or how to start and what resources to take. And one thing I've been, from the start, what I've done was, I started doing, taking a lot of online courses, obviously. Definitely to learn the design, start with design concepts. The design is not a difficult thing. It has a lot of rules and recommendations that you guide yourself through it. And it tells you basically why something looks good. Now, when you look, we all understand when look at the website or an app or a poster, we can all tell if something looks good or if something stinks, right? Humans can do that. Everybody can do that. But we don't know why. But design tells you the reasons why. And design tells you things look good because they're not chaotic. Your brain easily digests the information. There's a hierarchy. There's a focal point. So when you look at the poster, there is one item that is a focal point that is big. Your eye goes to that first, then understands what's the next one in the hierarchy and follows. So there's a lot of rules and a lot of recommendations. It tells you how to make the design. So first thing for any starting designer is to understand those fundamentals and take those old school design courses that are mainly from universities and things like that, and not jump into right away into web design and how to learn how to code or how to learn Webflow. Don't start with a Webflow right away, or don't start with a Photoshop right away, but understand the fundamentals of how to make something look good. That's it. And then you progress from there. And obviously another recommendation I would say is use good inspiration. Now, when you're looking for an inspiration, don't Google it. Don't go like good website examples, because Google shows things that are most visited. It's a very different ranking. Google doesn't show you what looks good. Google shows you what's high ranking in SEO. So go to sites like dribble.com. Dribble is an excellent place to find good inspiration, and look for good design examples there and recreate them. Backwards engineer them. Find something you like. Oh, I like this poster. Or I like this website. Or I like this app. Let me try to recreate them exactly pixel perfect. Kind of like what in art school students do, and when a teacher takes them to a museum and tells them, okay, replicate and forge this Picasso painting exactly as much as possible. Because in the beginning, you have to get yourself skilled, like how I can do exactly what they are doing. Get at that level, get at the benchmark of, okay, I'm able to copy everything. I'm really good at copying. Become really good at copying, then you'll start remixing. And then once you start remixing, that's it. You're creating an original board.
Yeah, that's insane. That's almost the exact same advice I got from the first designer I interviewed on here. Reverse engineering is like the number one recommendation across industries.
Excellent.
That's awesome, man. Well, Vako, I'm going to cut the recording and we can chat after, but thank you for coming on and sharing some of your advice for all the aspiring designers.
This was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Thanks a lot, Jan. All right.
Definitely.
Hope it was helpful for anybody who's going to watch it.
I think so.